All right, well, welcome to Supergood Podcast. This is actually our second one for the day, and we're excited to have two guests, Gianni and Kyle, some dope musicians that we found. Hey. Well, didn't find. Sterling, I guess, let you do the introduction there.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't met you guys before. This is our first acquaintance. I work with an LA-based stylist named Mary, who I think is going to roll through in a minute here. But Mary started working with these guys earlier this year, it sounds like. Yep. And she's your, would you say, visual consultant?
Image consultant.
Image consultant.
That's what she likes to be called.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So that's how we made the connect in January. We've been working for 6 months now.
So are you big Jordan fans, or is
Absolutely.
She helped make this footwear styling possible?
We met Jordan a few times. Probably she came.
He's talking about Jordan the brand.
Oh, Jordan the brand.
Goes back and forth. Jordan the brand.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Come on.
I remember in middle school.
Yeah.
In middle school, I always wanted Jordans, but the only sneakers I had was Skechers, and so I remember buying $80 fake Jordans, so fake.
I've done it.
Jordan 11s that were black and purple and white, just the fakest things of all time.
I think I bought my first pair of Jordans literally a week ago. Just because I could afford it now.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Dope.
Which is dope.
Yeah.
I was always rocking the Vans and just the $50 sneakers just because I didn't know. First of all, I didn't know anything about fashion at all until literally we started working with Mary. And then I just I was always cheap growing up.
Yeah.
So
I never
that's how that goes.
I never really got into the Jordan scene, but I wanted them when I was little. I just didn't have the money for them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I definitely have been either conned or went to the mega mall, megaplex in the hood and bought fake Jordans. But yeah,
Everyone has that phase. I feel like there needs to be a phase where fake stuff is cool.
Yeah.
I've been saying that. Why not do that?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's 7th grade to 9th or 10th grade.
But I want it to be cool now as a full adult. You know what I mean? Make it a trend. People are wearing vests and camp. What are those things? With the
the army vest?
Yeah, in bulletproof vests. They're wearing that at shows now. Why can't we just wear fake stuff and make that cool? You know what I mean? I don't know. Just an idea.
I mean, go for it, man.
I'm gonna start it right now. This is what I'm saying right now. It's happening.
We'll see what Mary says about that.
Yeah, we'll see what your image consultant says about wearing fake shit.
Yeah.
Dope. Well, so like we said when we were talking before, no real direction. You guys are musicians, so I guess where I'd like to start is, where are you guys from?
Maryland originally.
Okay.
Yeah, Annapolis.
And you guys went to school together?
Yeah, we went to high school together and we met freshman year, and our last names are so close together in the alphabet, both D's, that they sat us right next to each other in a tech ed class, and that's how we met.
Oh.
But we really didn't talk. All I did was just cheat off his final, right at the end of the semester. And
I'm pretty sure I failed that.
Yeah, it didn't end well, but it's I did it because I just didn't know anything. And then we didn't even talk again until senior year, when I kind of approached the music scene. No one even knew. I don't think anyone knew that we did music stuff at all. I didn't even talk about the fact that I could sing until my senior year. So no one knew.
You both were doing music at this time separately, though.
Yeah.
Well,
I have a really cringy way of how I got into music.
Yeah.
So it was sophomore year of high school, and I had to do a Spanish project. I have really bad anxiety in front of people, except for the shows that we do for some reason. But the idea of doing a project and having to say stuff in front of the class gives me the worst anxiety. And so the teacher said you could either make a PowerPoint, a poster, or a song in Spanish. And I had no idea anything about Spanish. But my friend, who was in Spanish 3 and I was in Spanish 1, I was oh, I know he uses GarageBand loops and stuff, and we can probably make a good Spanish song. So we made a remix to Teach Me How to Dougie.
Yes.
It was a Spanish song about cheesesteaks. And it was so bad. I remember using the Rock Band mic.
Right.
It was so bad, but then I remember it was done and I was dude, this is kind of dope. We should keep doing this. And it wasn't at all, though. But basically, then that just gave us 3 years of fucking around in his basement, just making the shittiest music. But learning how to make it sound pretty good.
Right.
And then freaking first day of senior year, he comes out and is singing a cover of Good Ones Go by Drake.
Yeah.
And it just sounded so bad. Yeah. But he could sing.
For a talent show or something?
No, I was just posting. One day I decided that I just wanted to sing. Like I always knew that I wanted to do it, but I didn't know how to approach it. And I remember I was like looking at colleges, like my junior year of high school, with this guy that actually like openly did music, and he was like looking at like all these music colleges and stuff, and I found interest in that. I remember this girl that I went to high school with, I won't mention, walked into the room and said, "Why are you looking at these colleges? You don't have a talented bone in your body." And I was like, "Whoa." And I was like, because I wasn't known for anything at school. Like he was like a swimmer. He was like swimming for the school and like Navy. So it was like, you know, he was like doing his thing. And then I wasn't really known for anything. Like everyone, I feel like at high school was like known for something, like whether it's like drama or like a sport.
Well, I wasn't even known at high school though.
But like he did a sport.
But yeah, I did.
thing.
I had something.
Right.
I like did something.
He was very quiet. He didn't have any friends. But
very true.
Yeah. But so I felt like I had this opportunity to actually be known for something. I mean, I know I could do it. At least I think I know I could do it. And I wasn't doing anything about it. So I was just like, as soon as I heard that, I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go buy equipment that I don't know how to use and try to do this music thing and just throw it out there. So then I got this like $300 mic I didn't know how to use. And like the whole little thing, I was doing it through my MacBook. And then I posted this really shitty quality cover of Good Ones Go by Drake.
Dope.
And I just literally recorded myself on my Mac singing it back and then threw it on YouTube. I don't even think I posted the link. I think I told my friend to do it. Like I was just like, just throw it out there. And then that kind of like spiraled everything at school, and everyone started hearing about the fact that I could do it because it was just like, it was so random that like everyone just started catching on.
Now you're the music guy.
Like, yeah, it's like, what the fuck? And then he reached out like a day later because like,
because no one even knew that like my homie and I made music, like because we were like making music but then just like keeping it to ourselves, because again like I didn't have any friends in high school, so I would just like he was my only other friend, but like we weren't like public with making music. So then I freaking Facebook message, and I just read that Facebook message, and it was the cringiest thing ever.
Dude, it was so bad, dude. Same thing.
Oh God,
it's very bad.
I looked at it. It was like freaking like September of 2012. I was like, whoa, this is weird.
Yeah, 6 years ago.
But yeah, so then I just reached out to him and was like, hey, like if you want, like we kind of know how to like engineer this stuff. If you want to like roll through. And then we basically just like became best friends. Yeah. Because it would just be every day.
It was literally every day for the next 3 to 4 years of just us wanting to make music. Like we spent every day, every summer just making music because we didn't know. It's just like what we wanted to do. It's like we didn't like really go out much, yada, yada. Like I didn't even start drinking until I was 21. Yeah. So like I didn't do the whole party scene even in college. So we were just focusing on music like consistently. And then we weren't even Gianni and Kyle at this point. We were literally just two separate artists making the same type of music, just not even making the connection like we should do this together. But every song we did together were the songs that did the best on the internet.
Also, the best is like 1,000 plays. Yeah, on SoundCloud. To us,
we were like,
but we're like, oh man, this is like double the amount.
Look at the comma, like you know, like
hell yeah. So did you guys after high school? Did you guys go to college together? Did you both go to?
I had a swimming. I went for swimming in New Jersey, and then totally dropped out after a year because I just like hated college. It just like wasn't for me.
Same.
And then I just moved back to Maryland, where I just like got a job, and then he went to.
Yeah, I went to the University of Maryland and graduated, and not using my degree now, but my mom is happy.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
but everything started like bring it back to it, like even in college, we were just consistently working on music. And I think by the time like my senior year happened, that's when like the music really started working because we met up with our whole team that we work with now, our managers, whatever, yada yada.
From Baltimore.
Yeah, everyone from Baltimore. And then things started working, and by the time that I graduated, we could finally say that we could do this full time. And as soon as I graduated, we did like a sold out show at home with one of our homies, and then just drove across the country here, and that's that.
Dope. So let me ask you this: from the point to where you guys been doing music for about 3 years together, and you're I don't know if you both are working regular jobs or whatever at the time, but when you say you got to the point to where you could do this full time, I mean, for our listeners or other people who want to do music, I mean, how did that happen? Like, where did you get to the point? Like, was it shows? You were making enough money off shows, or like, how did you essentially be able to make that decision to say fuck it and then come here? I mean, I guess.
Honestly, I think it's just, first of all, we had to make the music correct. The best advice I think we've ever gotten in the industry was from John Bellion when we went to one of his shows like 4 years ago. Like he didn't know who we were at all, and then we were like kind of asking the same questions.
Who is that?
John Bellion. He's like a pop artist.
I've showed you him before. I think I showed you. So he does some pretty cool like behind the snes videos. He was working on in New York, right?
Oh yeah, he's like one of my favorite.
He's like
artists.
signed to the same label as Logic.
He was involved with what did he? He helped produce like Diamonds or something. One of Rihanna's.
He wrote
Monster by Eminem.
Yeah, Monster.
Okay.
He wrote the hook. Well, yeah, he's been writing a bunch of stuff, but yeah, he's like one of our favorite artists, and we were asking the same questions like other people would ask now. It's like what advice can you give us if we're trying to do this thing, like blah blah blah. And he's like, just make sure that the music is good. Just make sure the music is as good as it can be, and then you will literally see things happen. Like you can't just ask for things it'll just naturally happen. And then that's what we try to do. We try to make the music the best we could, and then as soon as we started to understand what our sound was about to be, then we found our mentor and our manager, and then people, outside sources that wanted to come in and help us. And then things just started gradually catching on from there, and we started figuring out what we needed to do.
I think like the best thing for us was like before there was no one telling us like no, because it was just me and him in a room.
Yeah.
So we would be like, oh, this is dope. Yeah, this is dope. Just because we make it. Anything that you make, you're going to be proud of.
Right.
But you need that person that's like, nah, that's really bad. And you're like, oh, what? And then that just makes you like want to work harder to like get the approval from that person.
Right.
So that person to us is like one of our producers, Kojo, who we met in Baltimore. So he like he saw like our potential and just kind of like ran with it and kind of like morphed us into what we are now. But he was always like, I still don't think he's ever like been like, yeah, this is dope. Like he's always been like, it is cool.
Yeah.
And then we're like, what, dude? Like, come on.
There's like rare times where we're like, this is a hit. And we're like, oh man, that literally means the song's about to do so well. But I think, there's a lot of artists out here that surround themselves with yes men, which is not good at all. Like you could definitely support your friends, as much as you possibly can, but you also have to be like,
tough
hey, this
love.
sucks.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, because if we had yes men around us all the time, we would not be here at all. Like for real.
I think as long as you trust that person,
Absolutely.
because there's a line of like someone telling you shit's not fire when you're like, fuck off, it is fire.
Yeah.
But if you trust that person's opinion, then it just make you work harder, I suppose.
I think it's really easy to trust like someone like him, Kojo, because he like has done so much for us. Like right from the jump, like he like even saying like right from the jump, like, yo, this is like this stuff isn't good, but like I like, let's work to make it better. And like he's just like done so much. He's the one that like first like brought us out to LA and would bring us like back out and everything. Like we'd all mob together and stuff. But
Did he find you?
we kind of found each other. So like
That was deep.
oh my god. I mean like we
I wish you had like a cue. Like
I see how it is. All right. Well, we went to high school with this other artist who was like a year younger than us, and for somehow he started working like for Kojo. Like it was like an hour out of the way.
Yeah, pure coincidence.
But he like hit us up and was like, "Yo, you guys should like come to the studio I work at. I can give you like a really cheap price." And for like 4 or 3 years, we were just doing everything ourselves, like for free. I mean, if we were just doing it ourselves, we're like, oh, cheap price. Like, okay, I guess. Like, we'll try it. We've like never been to like a studio.
Right.
So we went there and like we made like, we're making like one song. And then Kojo, who like runs the studio, just like walks in and he's like, what is this? Is this y'all? And we're like, yeah. And he goes, what are y'all doing next weekend? And then we just like started working from there.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That song, I think, was Be Without You, right? That's like the first song that we put on our SoundCloud with like everyone. That's when we started seeing things gradually change and we started understanding what our sound was about to
deleted
be
everything.
Yeah,
once we like found out what our sound, like, okay, this is like makes sense, the direction, just like completely wiped everything.
Yeah.
Isn't that feeling of like finding a studio and just recording and then kind of being behind the scenes and letting someone else's sound, like I feel like that probably like that moment where you're like, fuck, we don't have to do all this. Like we don't have to do all the engineering and the
It felt
mixing
nice.
and the mastering.
It felt cool because it's like We've been in situations where it's like you go to a studio and you're like, yeah, this guy doesn't care at all, like about like this song.
Yeah,
like,
he's
like,
like,
oh
he's
yeah,
just doing
like,
it.
yeah, all right, here you go. And it's just like, oh, you don't really care. But like with that one, it was really dope because you like, it's always dope finding somewhere that like you can like chill and be like, oh yeah, this is in good hands. And then like they actually really fuck with it. And they like want to, cause like with them, even now, I mean, we still work with all the same people. It's been like almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
And like the reason why is because they want it just as bad for themselves. So like our engineer doesn't want to put out like a shitty mix because he knows, oh, like if they put this out and people like know that it's like shitty,
Yeah, he did
like,
it. Yeah.
like they're gonna know I did it. Like I want the mix to be the best mix or whatever the case is.
I think that's important because in any creative realm, and especially I think for musicians, it's you have the people that make it have a team of people behind them who actually believe in them.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have everybody on the same page, and you know, you don't just do it yourself. I mean, it can happen for sure. You know, you can get found on YouTube or a Bieber or whatever. I'm sure, but for the most part, people have a team that's working hard, and it takes a long time. But I want to break it down a little bit more. So you guys kind of found Kojo through a mutual friend, an artist, and then was that the first step? Like, talk to me about, I guess, the rest of the team, because if everyone comes back from Baltimore or where you guys are from, like, how did the team, like, what was the next step? Who's the next person you met? Who's the next?
Oh man. So everyone kind of gradually like found this home base in Baltimore. That's kind of like where our whole team kind of began. Like one of our videographers was working there as well, and he shot our first couple music videos
At the studio?
Yeah,
It's kind of weird. Like we literally, everyone that we work with right now, we met like in the same room at the same time.
Yeah.
It was like weird.
Yeah, like it's all the same people. So then, you know, our other engineer, producer is also our roommate now. He wasn't a producer, engineer, or anything when we met him. He was literally just a friend of our homie we went to high school with.
That played guitar.
Yeah, who just played guitar and brought us in to have that session where Kojo met us. And then he's like, you know what? I'm gonna start engineering and producing. Then he like learned it within like 3 months, and he's like one of our main producers now.
Yeah.
He's like amazing.
Dope.
His name is Nicky Quinn. And so there's that, and then, you know, our manager is also Kojo's business partner. His name is Colin. He came into the picture when things started buzzing with us. Sorry. And then, you know, just other artists that come in, you know, they're our homies now, and they also work with all the same people, and that's kind of how everything came together.
Yeah, so you kind of just that hub, like you met everybody there.
We just out of like, luck that we had just met everyone at the same time and everything just worked out.
Crazy.
Yeah.
No, I just try to like break it down for, you know, people who want to be in the same position as you guys. It's kind of, you know, for you, it worked out. But I guess by just putting yourself out there.
Yeah, I think with us, we were very lucky and fortunate to like meet the people that we did. But with anyone that's trying to do this now, it's more of just like surround yourself with good people and the correct people, not yes people that are just going to like support you 100%, people that are going to keep you grounded, people that are going to tell you, no, this is not okay, and people that are going to be like, this is kind of the right deal, but also give you the space to do what you want. You have to like learn yourself. Like our whole brand is literally just being ourselves. And like that's like what we started to realize is working for us, because we're like, you know, reasonably funny people when like we just like throw that out on the internet, but our music's also very serious, and we have that balance of just like being real with people, and that's kind of what they saw too, and they let us run with that. But there's also times where it's like
they also kind of yank the leash back.
It's like, don't
get
do
a little
this
too much.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like I was telling you guys when I was doing music in college, I wish you know what you said, focus on the music. And that's one thing I never really did. I was more or less doing it to, like, it all worked out perfectly. You know, he was a videographer, and I met a guy that had a studio, and I met another person, and it all kind of meshed for a second. But where I didn't focus was on the music. I was more concerned about the shows and events and like being out there and like trying to be that guy and music videos and girls, which, you know, but like we were spending money on music videos and trying to get on the radio and do all these things where at the end of the day we looked and we were like, shit, we spent all this money, and like, I wish I would have taken all that money and just focused on the music. You know what I'm saying? The music side. But I didn't have anybody telling me like the direction. You know, it was all of our boys who try to start a company and kind of run with it. So I think that's important for people is like focus on the craft.
Yeah.
Like focus on the music. You make good music, people will find you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? As long as you're putting yourself out there and being smart, making the right moves. But overall, like someone will hear you. Someone will find you. So I think it's huge.
The hardest thing, especially when you're starting out, you're just so excited. Like you're like, oh, dude, I just like linked up with all these people. I just made this song.
Every idea is a good idea.
Everyone to hear it. Like with us, like we were so excited. But I think it was like literally 6 months of like driving an hour and a half every other day to go to the studio. It was 6 months of like doing that before we even put out any music or anything like that. Like once we linked up with everyone we work with now, just to make sure. It was like we're so scared to like. I remember we were so scared to like just the thought of like doing a show or something because we're oh, dude, like we got to make sure like the music is like so good first and everything like that. So yeah, I think that was like the most important thing for us.
So jump into, because we talk about this a lot, is that's, you know, it's all very important. Like you're saying, focus on the music, make sure that, you know, you're feeling good about where you're at. But when you were ready, when you were at that point, did you feel like what you're saying right now is a little bit of like hesitation to like have that first show? Like how was that moment of whatever it was? Was it release? Was it planning the first show? Like when were you able to switch your mind into like action? Like now we're going to, you know.
I think it was necessity.
Yeah, it was that, and I think it was more of just like seeing the progress we were making, and also seeing that people actually wanted it. You know, like people were like, "Oh, you want to do like you got to do a show? I got to see y'all live." Blah blah blah. And it was kind of really last minute. There was like this show coming with one of our homies back home, and I was graduating, and it was like right before we had to like move.
It was literally the day before we were driving across country,
and we were just like, I wonder if we can just get on this show with him. So I hit him up, and he, you know, wanted to do it. So it was dope. And that was literally our first show like a year ago. And people came out, we sold out the venue. And people started singing the words back. So that's when we realized.
That's when we realized like,
on the first show.
Start doing
they were singing every word to every song that we were doing, besides like the unreleased stuff that we were like releasing or whatever. But yeah, that's when we realized, okay, people will actually want this from us if we keep doing this. And but at the same time, we like moved out here. We started working on a brand new project, and we focused on the music again and getting our brand correct and all that stuff. And we just did another show back. We actually flew back to Maryland back in April to do another sold out show. It was like 500 people. It was dope. And it was at my old college, which was really funny too. So cool. I'm just like, wow, I just did a sold out show at my old college, and I like graduated from here, and I'm literally doing the exact opposite of what they told me to do. Like I was like, I'm not using my degree at all, and like I literally just capped out the venue at my old college, which is like a crazy moment for me. And the best part was like it was all for charity and stuff too, which was really dope. But yeah, a bunch of people from home came out. It was really dope. Yeah.
I want to take one step back real quick. So that first show you guys did before you left, Kyle, you were talking about how you weren't super stoked about getting up in front of people, but like the shows
like
are
back in high school.
So
it
like
was so weird. Yeah. So like I remember showing up there, like I remember the first like, let's take it even back farther. I remember the first session we had with like Kojo and everything. I almost threw up in the car because I was just like, dude, remember that when I was like, dude, I'm freaking out. I almost threw up because I was just nervous to go work with new people. Like I've never been like the type that like wanted attention or anything. So when that first show came up, I was just like sitting in the corner, like like during sound check and everything. I'm like, oh fuck, like I'm so worried. I'm so bad with like remembering my own lyrics. So I remember it would just be like, it was like, it was so bad. Like I remember just trying to remember lyrics so much, and I was freaking out. And then it was like 5 minutes before like we were supposed to go on, and I was just like, I remember just being like, all right, dude, I'm just fucking ready. Like all my adrenaline was pumping, and I look over and Johnny's just like this. Like, he's like, like he looks scared as shit.
Oh yeah. And then I remember we were just sitting there literally about to go on, and they start like a Gianni and Kyle chant in the crowd. We're like, all right, bet, let's do it. And I was like so pumped that I literally entered stage like 5 seconds earlier than we should have.
It was on all these videos. He's like,
I was like standing there like, what's up, bitches?
And the spotlight's
like
shining on him.
And we just ran out, and literally, I don't remember a single thing.
So, I was gonna say, did that
anything.
Like that fear probably just was like
it was just like blacked out from full adrenaline. I didn't have anything to drink. It was just like full adrenaline. Just did the whole thing. And we look back like, damn, we really killed it. And like, even our DJ, he didn't even have his headphones in. He was just like doing everything naturally.
I remember when because we had like a week, 2 weeks to prepare for it, because that's when we hit up our homie Earl, who like was throwing the show. And like during like everything, like all the preparation and stuff, I was fucking up lyrics. Like our homie Michael, who was DJing, was like fucking up the drops and or whatever and everything. And then like looking back at the videos, he's just like up there, like it looks like he's not even paying attention. He's like just doing everything right. It was so funny.
It just came together. It's like that, like the what's that quote? Death by
analysis paralysis.
So basically just like all the preparation, like killing yourself in preparation and like worrying about it compared to just fucking doing it. And so like almost the same concept, you know, with performing. It's like all this thing you're thinking about, the DJ and the sound check, but then when you get up there and you take action, it just boom. All of a sudden it's smooth, all of a sudden it works, you know. That's dope.
It's just like that, it's breaking that wall of just like you gotta get the fuck out there. And
right.
Do it,
So let's okay. The first show was on the way to LA. Let's take one more step back before we come into the now. So you guys didn't even do a show and you committed to moving to LA.
Yes.
So you have your team believes in you, music's starting to pop off. You guys all made a collective decision, like, fuck it, we're going to LA.
Yeah.
So
everybody moved.
Yeah. It was like around 10 people.
Wow. That's
all
crazy.
At the same time. We were just, I think, like within the span of a month.
So just talk about kind of, I guess, those conversations or that mindset, like for all you guys to take a leap.
I mean, we were pretty popping like on Spotify and like YouTube and stuff. Like a video had like 3.5 million views.
Yeah,
like,
I saw that.
It was our
dope.
song "Fuck Boy." It was like
"Fuck Boy," let's go.
Which was
God.
I mean, it's like now it's like
cringe.
Not even. It's like I still like love that song because like people love when we perform it. And it's like, but it's like for us, it's like that song is like so old and it's like not even like what we sound like anymore. But like I still love that song because it basically like started our careers.
Right.
Like we weren't as popping as we were until that song literally started going viral on the internet. So I love that song.
It got on the viral Spotify charts.
Yeah, it got like on a Spotify playlist and like I don't think anyone's supposed to do that as an independent artist. You know what I mean? Like it just like everything just started happening at once. Like it got like 80,000 views in a day on the first day. And then at the same time it hit the Spotify chart. So everything just connected like really well.
Right.
And it just, everything started working. And then at that point, the numbers just kept gradually growing with us. And as we kept releasing stuff, I think it started catching more people's attention to the point where it was just like, okay, I think it's getting to the point where we can like start doing this full time once we actually move out to LA and do this. So I think
everyone in the team just kind of had the same mindset of like they're all. So that, I mean, that's a big commitment because they're all getting behind
like
you.
A leap of faith,
a leap of faith in you, a leap of faith in them. Both sides was, especially for them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But I was in the back of my head, I was like, this is gonna work. Like this is definitely gonna work. Like even like from the beginning, even when nothing was working, I was like, this is gonna work no matter what because there's no plan B. Like I literally believe that this was gonna happen from day one.
Right.
So
that's dope. I mean, that's the mindset you have to have. Yeah. Okay, so you sit with the team and you guys are like, we got to be in LA. Why? Just because you know LA is the place, or was there any specific reason?
There's a few different reasons. So like, yeah, definitely that. Like, I think at that point, besides like doing the show, which I mean we ended up doing, but besides shows, like we kind of exhausted our exhausted like the people that
the area,
the
resources.
Do the most we could with the place that we were at.
Right.
Yeah. So then that was definitely one big factor of like, all right, let's go to LA just because there's so much going on.
Right.
Like, and then the other one was totally blanking right now. The other one. What was the other one?
Connections.
Oh no! Oh my God! I feel so stupid right now. No, we were already going out to LA for like weeks at a time. Like probably like once a month, we were going out for like a week or two. Yeah. Just because we were like in contact with a few labels, because that's when like Fuckboy like kind of like started getting momentum and everything. So we were already going out there and like kind of in sessions and almost getting placements and stuff. So that's when we were just all like, okay, like this like works. So like, let's just
we need
go
to be
out
here
there
full time.
Like, yeah.
Did you guys establish a manager in that studio back in Baltimore?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I'm still our manager today as well. So.
Everybody's the same. That's crazy. That's
Everyone's the
that's not. I mean, I feel like that's very fortunate for you guys to have a whole team that is willing to move and come out here with you.
Even to this day, everything that we do music wise is all in-house with our 2 producers and engineers.
Okay.
We went through like a phase of like 3 months of getting in sessions with other people, but it just like, I don't know, it like didn't work because we make it's not weird music, but it's like a very like weird lane because like these people that we were around, like we all develop this certain music together. So it's like we get in sessions and like the best way to describe it is like urban pop. It's like pop music with like trap drums and stuff like that.
Right.
But when I say it like that, it doesn't even do it justice. But we'll get in these sessions and it's either like, oh, this is a little too trap, like, or whoa, this is like way too bubblegum pop. So then we were just like, all right, fuck, why are we like wasting our time doing this with like other people? Let's just keep on.
When it works with what we got.
Right. Okay. So I mean, I don't know if
Go for it.
so now you're in LA.
Yeah.
You guys moved to LA. That was about a year ago.
Yeah.
So what were the steps? What was the thought process ultimately?
See, this is how I feel about LA. We were just having this conversation the other day. It's not about being in LA. It's like people like assume once you come to LA, things are going to automatically start happening just because you're here. That's not the case at all. It's like, it's how you work within the environment that you have. It's like making the correct moves and knowing who to talk to, right? There's people that are like, oh man, like LA isn't working for me, blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, you're out every night in the club, whatever. It's like, you have to really work. You know what I mean? You have to like really like want to do this and make the correct moves with the correct people, I feel like. And I think with us, we're all in the same mindset. Our whole team is in the same mindset of like, okay, we know no one, like Kojo said this the best. No one knows what to do when you're out here. No one knows what to do. We just know what not to do. And that has kind of been working for us this whole time. So yeah, I think that's how it sums it up. It's like, just making the correct moves once you're out here and talking to the right people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some people want to like just move out here and just like not worry about working and just be like, oh yeah, like I'm out in LA now. Like I can like post on the gram, like get everyone from my hometown being like, whoa, my God, he's like in LA. Then like if you're not doing anything though, you like are just wasting money and you're gonna end up back home.
Yeah.
Right. So for aspiring musicians and artists who do make that move out to LA, when you say the moves not to make, I guess what advice would you have for them as far as how to move when you get out here? Obviously, you guys put a big emphasis on grinding and working, but what does that mean? Because ultimately, you can save money and move to LA, but you need to make money. You know what I'm saying? And so like whether it's doing shows or doing whatever, but what would you say to people who want to come out here? Like, what should their focus be on as far as musically wise? Like what you've seen just from personal experience?
See, it's like it's so particular with us because our whole team is like sober, and also we don't go out rarely ever. So our mindset isn't like party all the time. We want to stay in. We want to make music. Like they literally beg us to go out sometimes just because we need to show face in places. Literally.
Yeah.
Like they yell at us for that. And because we just want to sit in with sessions and like do this, do that. And so it's like for us, it's very like weird just because the fact that we don't want to go out all the time, but definitely with other people, just find that balance of like, okay, you definitely need to show face at places, but just know what is the most important and which is making music. And like the reason that you're out here is to be an artist. But we're also very fortunate that we could live off music once we got out here. I think that's a big step too.
I was going to say that.
Yeah. It's like I feel like you shouldn't really make the move out here unless you know for a fact you can start doing this full time. And then
I mean, like we had like a scare to where we like not a scare, but it was like Kojo and our manager Colin were like, hey, y'all like might need to get jobs. And so it's like right when that happened, I'm like, boom, all right, I got a car. I'm about to sign up for Lyft or Uber or whatever. Like you just gotta make it work. Like don't be like scared to freaking work as a waiter or something. Like we were blessed enough not to have to do that, but like we were ready to.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like we gotta just like make it work.
So I guess if I can just pry a little bit, when you say you're blessed enough, like what was the situation? Because I mean, like, were you getting paid by management? Was it from shows? Or like, for other people who, what does that mean?
Streaming.
Yeah,
all of our
literally Spotify.
Really?
Spotify pays the bills.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like literally, like I still can't wrap my mind around that concept that literally Spotify is paying for my rent right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It
just
still
like
is. That's like our income.
yeah, and like
Spotify.
so it's like the last show that we did was for free. Like we just did that for charity.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not even like
We
we're
had
doing
to buy
any,
tickets to go out there.
yeah, we literally bought our own tickets. We're like, all right, if this is for charity and it's back home, it's like we're gonna show love and literally just do it.
Right.
So yeah,
And we had like money saved up before we came out also, which is like really awesome because like we ran out of it. Like the money
Very
that we
quickly.
saved up like probably like a month or two in.
yeah,
But
we had
then,
regular
like,
jobs back home. Yeah.
Like once that happened, like it was almost like fate. Like once we like ran out of money is like when the Spotify checks are like kind of going up and stuff.
That's crazy. So how does that not without getting too deep into it, kind of how does that work? Like you can put stuff on iTunes and Spotify as long as you completely own everything, right?
right.
And what I guess what's that process like of getting it? Like are you uploading an MP3 to Spotify? Like
Yeah, I mean we're like we use a distributing company, right?
Yeah.
Just like DistroKid.
Yeah.
okay.
And you just upload it.
And it just throws it on Spotify and Apple Music.
Right. And you just have to have like own all the rights to everything or have, deal with the producer or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Well, everything's in house, so it's
Yeah.
like we split with our
So we
producers
split
and
it,
engineers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's sick as fuck.
So
Yeah.
Dope.
It's really weird. I'm just like
a weird concept.
That's like honestly, like that's a huge accomplishment. Like
Yeah.
for a lot of people, like, are you kidding? You pay your rent through Spotify.
Yeah.
Like
it's kind of scary. It's like, how long is this gonna last? You know what I mean?
as long as you keep making good music.
Yeah.
Yeah. And plus it's like gone like exponentially up.
Yeah, since we moved out here, our numbers have tripled since we've been out here.
More than that.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's the fact that we've been out here that like did that. I think either way that was going to happen, but like
It's the music.
yeah,
It
I
helps
think
that
it
we're
definitely
out
helps
here
being
too.
out here as
Yeah.
well. I think either way that was going to happen.
Yeah. Let's fucking go. That's
yeah,
dope.
so far.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I've learned a lot about how distribution works for film and like documentary when it comes to Amazon and Netflix and, Hulu and like all these different outlets that people can, even independent films can get, like an independent artist, you can get your films on there. And I've been walked through by a documentary film guy before about like how the different pricing structures work. For musicians, is it pretty much in terms of paid streams? Is it Spotify and iTunes and like that's it? And are you guys making kind of like strategic decisions about where to release your music?
This is what I don't like about other artists. They limit on where they post the music. As a fan, I want to listen to it anywhere, whenever. Like I don't care. Like I want the people to be able to listen to it as easily as they can. That's like the number one for me. I think it's like I just want the people to hear it. Like I don't want to be like, oh man, like it's not on Spotify, so I'm not going to listen to it. Oh, it's not on YouTube, so it's like my mom can't listen to it. My mom doesn't have Spotify, but she like YouTubes us all the time. It's like, oh, I'm listening to you today, blah, blah, blah. Like stuff like that. It's like, but I think, yeah, for the most part, it's just like
giving people the option to listen wherever they want.
it doesn't matter. As long as like people are listening, I don't care.
Yeah.
As like what gets paid more.
I
whatever,
think
blah, blah, blah.
definitely Spotify pays
Yeah, but
most,
Spotify's,
though.
Spotify's the best. I love Spotify so much.
So you guys are on, but I saw you guys are on Apple as well.
Oh yeah, we're on everything. Yeah.
Okay. And so like how, I guess as far as money wise, I mean, you guys started with Spotify, but is the pay structure as far as like, is it similar?
See, like I think we know for a fact that Spotify definitely like pays the best, but we kind of get this whole pot of everything at like the end of the
It's
month.
like everything
With,
just comes
everything
in.
just comes in at
So we
once.
get money from like YouTube.
Oh, so distribution does all of that for you.
So like when you upload through like DistroKid, I'm pretty sure it's like
Got it.
Spotify's getting it, Apple Music's getting it, freaking Google Play.
Yep.
Which I think we
got
make like
it. Amazon.
$2.
Yeah.
Amazon.
Yeah, like whatever.
Right.
Like I don't know. We're on everything.
Yeah. How does that work for your music videos? Like, does it go to like what's that one? Vivo or Vimeo or whatever?
We actually release all our music videos through this channel called Swaggy Tracks, which is where kind of like the fuckboy thing happened. It's like because that channel has so much more attention than our own personal channel.
Right.
So we just were like, oh, why don't we just throw this music video out at them? Like, see what they like think about it, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I love it. And he's become a homie of ours now. And like
YouTube channel?
yeah. And we just talk to him from time to time about when we're releasing music videos or blah, 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 because we know that, that channel gets a lot of traction for us. So for the music video wise, that's all him. We just like, hey, we just want the exposure. We want to put a good visual out. Here you go.
Dope.
Yeah.
Just making those connections.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. And for people listening, I mean, we'll write down some of this stuff, but that's the type of shit people don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I think it's important.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you say like, don't. It's like, don't be a dick when you're nobody. Like, don't just put your music out on this one little outlet because you're trying to be exclusive. It's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's how you'll get diehard
These accounts
fans.
are free to use them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why not?
When you don't have anything else.
Exactly.
Like, it's something that you definitely have to remind yourself.
I hate that shit.
Like I remember when I was like a really big fan of Superduper Kyle, like back in like high school. So I remember like senior year, he put out his debut album, and like I remember it went up on like iTunes, and he also uploaded the album onto like SoundCloud. And I remember he like specifically said like, oh, for everyone that like doesn't want to pay for it and just like wants to support me anyways, like I uploaded it onto SoundCloud also. That's how you get diehard fans. If you put something out and it's like, hey, like we're not big enough for you guys to like want to care enough to buy something, like here's it for free. So then once you do start charging, like those people that were with you from the start will be like, man, you know what? They did all this stuff for free. Like, let's like support them.
Real support. You know what I'm saying?
It's give, take. It's like Gary V's jab, jab, hook. It's the same shit.
Right. Okay, so you're in LA with the team. You guys are recording music. You're making money through Spotify. What's the shows? You guys start getting booked for shows. Have you guys been doing shows, or what's kind of your philosophy on live shows versus focusing on studio sessions?
I think that there's a lot of conversations about once we release this project coming up in the fall, because it's done. It's been done for almost a year. Like we're even moving on to even better music that we're like, we can't wait to drop. It's a process. But once we release this project, we're looking potentially for a tour.
A pretty big artist like just recently, like 2 days ago, like slid in our DMs asking us what we were doing in the fall time tour wise.
But we won't say anything about that until
that happens. Nothing's set in stone.
But yeah, so that might be a possibility. But either way, we were thinking about, trying to do festivals, trying to do college shows. That's why we're trying to drop the project kind of when school comes back in, just so we can start making those rounds.
Promo tour as well, I guess.
Exactly. Well, I mean, like, stuff like that. But I think, like the music is where it is now. I think we're kind of moving towards more shows and trying to get the face out there and stuff like that.
I think we have the music, like...
That's already locked in.
It's locked in.
Yeah.
Dope. So yeah, it's just kind of trying to be strategic.
Yeah, I mean, because at the same time, it's like Gianni and I are doing everything. Our like management, like Kojo's doing we're all doing everything ourselves, and we're learning as we go. So it's like back like 2 years ago, no one knew shit, and we're just like kind of like learning as we go. So it's like we don't know how to get onto freaking festivals and stuff, but we're like just trying to like make those connects and everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you guys about, you talked about your identity a little bit, a little while ago. You said, you're pretty funny guys, but you like to be very serious in your music.
Yeah.
And you started just throwing that shit on the internet. And I guess that's what I wanted to ask about was how you started, you got your team, you got your music, you moved out here. Like, how did you start to shape how you present yourself from a visual standpoint? And like, I'm just going through like your Instagram, you guys have a very unique color palette, like a lot of, a lot of like bright kind of simple backgrounds and type stuff like that. Like, is that just you guys talking about what you vibe to, or what were the original discussions there?
I think that in the beginning, like when Fuckboy came out, that music video came out, we were kind of showing a little bit of charisma, and I think that's why it sat so well with people, because we looked so normal. And then we dropped like 2 more music videos after that, and they didn't do as well. And we were like, why isn't this working? Right? And like, why isn't this like sitting as well as it did with, Fuckboy? Because these are obviously better looking visuals, but it just isn't connecting correctly. And I think by the time we, months went by, we started to realize that literally being ourselves is the only thing that we need to do.
The other 2 visuals, we took ourselves like too seriously.
Exactly. And it just wasn't us. But like, it actually wasn't showing any of our character at all. So we're like, why don't we just like literally just start being ourselves? We just start being like super like, sarcastic and positive and funny, like towards our fans, and like
that's how we treat everyone.
It's like just how we talk. Like just like why are we trying to act like too cool for school type shit? You know,
that's the worst.
Yeah, it's like a lot of artists like they're trying to present themselves as this like higher being, and it's just like I think that's what disconnects them with like the fans. Is just like I feel like I can't even reach you, you know. But with us, it's like we are literally normal people. We talk to our fans consistently like we're normal people because we're just in a cool position, you know what I mean? We present that with our visuals and our videos and all that. With I think with the Instagram, honestly, our Instagram used to be super shitty, but we started working with Mary, our image consultant, and she was like, "I want your Instagram to match what your music sounds like, which is like colorful, fun, positive, you know." And I think we're starting to understand that now. And then on top of our visuals, we just dropped a music video for our latest single, 5 Shots, and I think that kind of that music video alone captures our whole brand when it comes to like fun, colorful, but also like charismatic and like being funny. Not taking ourselves too seriously, because a lot of artists take themselves very seriously, and we do when it comes to like the music. This is our jobs and this is what we have to do, but at the same time, it's like chill the fuck out. Like, we're normal people.
Like just be yourself.
Exactly.
Like
I hate like the but I mean, before I say that, like it works for some people too. So like that, like being like the type of person that like follows 0 people on everything, like and that kind of stuff, that works for some people. Like for us, it totally doesn't work because we like want to like connect with fans. So we spend like hours a day just in our DMs, just like responding to everyone unless they say some wild shit.
Right.
And we're like,
decline. Or like our comments and everything, or every tweet and stuff. Because I think that's really helped too, because it's like, it just like gets people to like feel like, oh man, like they actually like care. Like they like, took, because they look at artists as like not like humans. Like, because sometimes we'll get some like DMs like saying some crazy shit, and then we'll just like respond and be like, what? And they'll be like, oh my God, I love your guys' music.
You guys actually responded.
Yeah, so they like, and like at the end of the day, like, Spotify's cool, but like we still ain't shit. We're just like 23-year-olds. Like every day we wake up and just like make some music.
Yeah.
Right? So, but like the kids like look at like artists as like, holy shit. Like, so when they get any kind of interaction with them, they're like, whoa, like these humongous big deals are like, again, we're not though, but like that's the way that they perceive it. They're like, dude, like they just took their time to like just talk to me.
Right.
Like this one kid just DM'd us, like showing his DMs with this other artist. And like the other artist just like hasn't responded, like read every single thing. And he goes, this is why you guys are my favorite, because you guys respond. It's like, oh shit.
I think it's about building the relationship with fans to make it seem like, they care. Like they're
and
normal.
we do.
Yeah.
We do.
We
we do give a shit.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of artists do, but they don't really make the connection, like, or like, push to show that as well. But we try our hardest to like make it seem like we are very down to earth people, because we are. And I think they understand that through the brand as well. It's because we don't take ourselves as seriously as, most artists do. But at the same time, it's like, it's just because we're normal. The music's still serious. We, try to make that as best as we can. But, if you were in this position, what would you do? Type of thing. You know what I mean? It's like,
I was just working as like a carpenter back in Maryland, like on construction sites.
Yeah.
Like I'm not about to like act too cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's
Yeah,
like a
LA
blessing
now.
like that I get to do this. I'm not about to like, just because like we have some followers or whatever, I'm going to be like, oh no.
I think keeping that mindset is what will ultimately make you guys successful, and ultimately being yourself. Like that's dope. And like even like you said, some shit works for other people. The character and the 0 follows and all that. Like it does. But like as long as you're true to yourself and being yourself, that's what you guys are finding is going to get you. The closer you can. Once you figure out your lane, then it's like the closer you can get into that lane. And like for you guys, that's, using social media to connect with fans and trying to stay true to yourself and be nice people and be funny and do all that.
I have one follow up on that. So you work with Mary. She helps you identify like how you want to present yourself visually. Yeah. Let's take it a step further. So like one of your recent posts had, kind of like behind the scene shots of the video, kind of like collage style. How are you approaching? Is that all through conversations with her about like, hey, let's try to get, a designer to help work on this, or like what what I mean? How does that, do you guys have somebody on your team that's focusing on the design? And
as far as that edit goes, that was all him.
Yeah, that was on me.
Dope.
Because the 1 year that I was at college, I was an art major. Also,
Okay.
so like I learned like very basic stuff. But like Johnny and I are like really creative minds. So like we make music, but we also like love like just coming up with ideas for videos. Like we'll just do that in our spare time.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, I thought of like this dope video idea. I'm like, to what song? And he's like, I don't know yet, but it's just cool. So like we'll write everything down. Like it's basically like we just come up with ideas and we like write them all down. We have the ideas and then we'll come back to like Mary or like Kojo or whoever like part of our team and be like, yo, I like this is our idea. Let's like fine tune it. Like, what do you guys think? There's been times Mary's been like, no, like don't do that. But like everything we do, we like majority like come up with ourselves and we go back to our team, get their opinions and kind of build off of
I think
that
that's interesting
initial
for
idea.
people to hear that you're not just involved with the music and it's that makes you even more ingrained in like this story about you.
Yeah, we like come up with the majority of the ideas that we have, even with like, content and the visual that we just did with 5 Shots. With like that whole storyline, we kind of just like literally thought of last second because the original idea didn't work out because of cancellation issues. But even with future visuals as well, like what you'll see with other stuff, it's going to be written by us, because I think that's what works with our brand as well. It's because no one else can be us. You know what I mean? It's like we're Gianni and Kyle. We come up with the ideas. Like that's why it works. And that's why no one can really mimic. They can mimic, but it won't work as well as what's doing for us because we're literally being original with ourselves. And that's like literally we're thinking of everything ourselves, even with the music, with the content, with the visuals, everything is just us. So that's why I think it works for us.
Especially now, like the music industry is so much bigger than just music.
Yeah.
You got like
Everything.
Like what you just said is branding, like the Instagram feed, everything.
People want to know who you really are.
Exactly.
And people can see bullshit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
too,
The music isn't enough these days, which is fucking insane.
Yeah,
Right.
like
think about.
Trippie Red or like Smoke Perp or Lil Pump wouldn't be Trippie Red or Lil Pump if like their image wasn't just as freaking perfect as their music.
Right.
Yeah.
It's everything goes together.
It's the whole package.
Yeah, exactly. Like Gianni and I love like stuff like Key and Peele and like all like
Same. I love Key and Peele.
Yeah, like Key and Peele, like but even like The Office or just like TV shows like Atlanta. I love Atlanta.
Parks and Rec?
Yeah,
Oh my God. I just finished the whole series again.
Really?
Again. Like
We
the second
always
time.
they put me on that,
go
bro.
hard.
Yeah. But, like,
OG
so-
Chris Pratt.
So I think
God,
like
yeah.
Fat Pratt. Oh my God, it's so good.
What a time.
But like, so like Gianni and I like music's so dope, but I think like we're both on the same page where it's like we'd love to, write,
Do more.
Yeah, like
Do
we just
more.
like,
I feel like this is like an opening for us to do more
Yeah.
in like the entertainment industry.
because
You know what I mean?
that's
Keep hearing
why
that.
we love like being so hands on with like all the ideas like for videos and stuff, like because
we can show that we can do it.
yeah,
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of artists can't do that. It's
Right.
like they have people to do that for them. And we want to show to everyone that it's literally us coming up with everything with the help of our team as well.
Yeah.
But,
But it's like just because we have a team doesn't mean that that we are just gonna like, oh well, yeah,
Be hands off.
Right.
let's just like sit back. Y'all can do it.
Yeah.
Like, we have other people working for us, but that doesn't mean that we're gonna like.
it literally makes us upset if we're not hands on with stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, this isn't what I would do, like da-da-da-da type thing. So, yeah.
Dope. Well, shit. I guess Sterling now might be a good time to hit him with some questions.
Yeah, so we have a couple just like rapid fire ones we hit at the end. You guys can go as quick as you want. What's the most important habit for a creative or an entrepreneur?
Consistency.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Dope.
First thing that came up. First thing that came out of my mind.
Boom.
Ditto.
Yeah.
You already said John Bellion, but biggest influences.
In Sync, Backstreet Boys.
Really?
I think like if you listen back on our music, you could tell that we love like 90s or early 2000s pop melodies.
Yeah.
That's like what
Everyone
drove me to
did.
want to do music in the first place, I think, was just like listening to all that early stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, this
Yeah.
is like the coolest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And then kind of just running with that and kind of reminiscing on that sound and bringing it into like modern day music. I think that's what.
Yeah. And then Drake.
And
Yeah.
Drake. Yeah, Drake's fucking
Drake's
awesome,
very
dude.
good.
Yeah.
Drake.
I don't know when this podcast will get dropped, but he just dropped his album last night,
Yeah.
and we
So
obviously all
Drake
fuck
dropped.
with it hard.
And we
dropped.
Drake dropped. And we had a whole like streaming process of just like freaking the fuck out over that. Yeah.
One question on that, and I'm going to judge you guys based off this.
Okay.
Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
Oh no.
You have to pick one. See, I'm older than you guys though. I'm Backstreet Boys. I'll just go ahead and say that right now.
See, the thing is,
I was more connected with NSYNC.
See, like I love both, but NSYNC are the guys because I saw JT and I was like, damn, I want to do that. I remember watching.
I had the CD.
I literally remember
first,
watching the
like,
Bye
I
Bye
don't
Bye
remember.
music video, and I was like, that's what I want to do with my life.
JT. I guess that. Okay.
I'm
what I
gonna
mean?
say Backstreet Boys.
Let's go.
But I Want It That Way is fucking hit. Yeah.
I remember there was a yard sale, and I think I was in like kindergarten or first grade. There was a yard sale, and I just remember like walking up, and I'm pretty sure it's Backstreet Boys, but there was a CD there, and it was like burgundy and orange, and like sequencing like circles on the CD, and it was one of them. I'm pretty sure
that might have been.
Dude, I was in like first
Hanson
grade
or some shit.
No, it was definitely it had to have been Backstreet Boys. But I just remember like listening to that, and I thought it was so cool because I got it from like
Backstreet Boys. Let's go. Is that it?
though? Oh man, now I feel like I'm lying.
Wow.
We're gonna follow up on this one.
All right, we'll follow up on that. We'll follow up on
All
that.
right, all right. Last question. Is most rewarding experience so far?
What's that time where you guys were like, "This is fucking dope. This is what we're
Just
doing."
recently, when our new single 5 Shots, it like
Which is a dope song.
thank you. I think like in 4 days it got over 100K on Spotify.
Damn.
Yeah, our phones literally kept freezing because of all like the love it was getting from it, which is insane. I was trying to call my mom.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do that because my phone was just blowing up with notifications.
Yeah.
I think, but for me though, I think it's the live show when it's always when we play Fuckboy. And like you'll go if you like look at our Instagram, we like to have like show stuff on our highlights. And I remember just like everyone freaks out when the song comes on. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, all right, y'all about to sing this. And I literally don't do anything. I like sing like the first line, I just let them have it, and you can just hear everyone in the place singing it. It's like all the way at the end. It's like so dope. Right? Keep going. We also played Stacey's Mom, which was fucking hilarious. Right here. Yeah.
For the listeners, we're getting a live view here.
Isn't that crazy?
Sick.
I was like, that was crazy. I think for me, literally just watching that is like the coolest thing ever. You know what I mean?
Man. That's dope.
Like they're singing it for us. That's the coolest thing. It's holy shit, they really care. They care about what we're doing.
That's hype.
Yeah. I think that for me, it's like literally seeing it in person.
Yeah.
I hope we see that more in the future, but like literally seeing our progress with people
Yeah.
is just like the coolest thing.
That's dope.
Well, shit, man. I mean, we're excited to see what you guys do.
Yeah.
We're out here. Let's definitely, collaborate on shit. And
By the time this drops, you guys might be getting into some tour action, so we'll definitely post about that.
we'll follow up.
Yeah.
And keep a lookout for these two.
And we appreciate your time. I don't know if you guys want to plug anything, any shows coming up, anything coming up, any.
We have nothing coming up in the works as of right now in this moment. We might like check us out on whatever we're doing right now.
We'll post post where you can find you guys and all that shit.
So,
All right.
And we appreciate your time and thanks for coming.
Thanks for
having
having
us.
us.
All right, thanks guys.
peace.